you get the ball bearings in the little holes. Now I like to think of it in these terms when you're trying to balance these parts of your life. You need to have the little ball bearing in the right hole with work, relationships, and yourself. Now, what tends to happen is that, say for example, work is getting tough or stressful. It tends to take your focus and it tips the balance. And you focus more and more on trying to get work right. And it's like that, trying to get the ball bearing back into the hole. You're tipping it so far into the work segment that the others come out and you're not paying any attention to those at all. All you're focused on is getting the work ball bearing back in its hole. And you forget about the others. And then you get that back in its hole and everything else has gone wrong in your life. Or the same with the relationship. When your relationship is starting to, it's starting to get tricky, you're hitting a bit of a rough patch or whatever. What you do is you focus on the relationship segment, and you focus more and more and more. Your work suffers, you suffer, and you just try and fix that bit. Now, both of these things, the work and the relationship, there is a trick to playing this ball bearing game. Okay. Now the strategy you need to adopt in order to keep this balanced, or to get it in balance in the first place, is you need to make sure the ball bearing in the self segment is in. That's the one you need to get in first, and that's the one you need to keep in. When you do, the other two will just fall into place. And I know you know how this works. You know, when you've met your partner, or you've met somebody, or when you've got a promotion, or you've gone out and got a new job, do you do that when you're in a really, really tough place in your life? When the self segment has gone completely out of sync? No, probably not. These things happen. You meet somebody when you're in a good place. You get up there and you go to an interview and you shine when you're in a good place. So the secret to getting your life in balance is to focus on yourself, not to focus on everything else. You can't control other people around you. You can't control what they're saying or what they're doing. So focusing on them is not going to fix anything. Focusing on work will just stress you out more and more and more. And so you go into the primitive brain. Your primitive brain is not your intellect. It cannot come up with inspiring ideas. It cannot be efficient and focused and be able to break through those barriers and do whatever you need to do at work. Your intellect will. Now you stay on your intellect by looking after yourself. You need to meet your own needs first as your priority. And that is not selfish, it is selfless. And I'll explain that, because that's such a hard concept for many, many people to get their head around. They're going, yeah, but if I just look after my own needs, that's really selfish. I've got my children, I've got my husband, I've got work, I'll lose my job if I just look after myself. And all these excuses, all these negative excuses come out as to why not. But by looking after yourself, by looking after your own needs first as a priority, you will find that you are much able to give to others as you wish to, and you are much more efficient and focused and inspirational and creative but just better at work. Okay, that's why the trick to keeping this all in balance is to look after yourself. You've got to look after